Hey, Jamie. What?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. That
Okay.
was weird. It
What?
came in with a ton of static.
Really? I didn't hear anything. In fact, the quality of the audio and video this time, thank God, is good. So, hey,
Yay!
hi, Erik, my boy.
He said, "Hi, Mama."
I love you.
He said, "I love you
In
too."
case you didn't know, we're going to talk about something that I've butted my head up against since you died, and that is skeptics. You know, I used to be a skeptic myself, raised by two atheists. You know, it was really hard to imagine if you were anywhere after you died, Erik. But you know, there's so many people who say we're talking to the devil, which is probably true because you are a little bit of a devil, Erik. But you know, there's especially those who are deeply religious, organized religion-wise. But yeah, what can you tell me about skeptics?
He said, just like you mentioned being atheist and then mentioned religion, because if we look at the religious skeptics, in every religion that's been documented, there's been communication to the beyond, whether it is God or deceased angel, helper, teacher, cherub, whatever it is. That is proof that there's communication to the afterlife. With those that are skeptic, he said, it's not necessarily our job, really, to change anybody's belief system, religious or atheist. With the atheist skepticism, maybe this is what they need to fulfill their life.
How?
How?
Yeah. How does that fulfill them?
By letting them believe that they are an individual, that they are alone in this place, and that they can be self-focused.
Okay, that doesn't sound like fun.
He says, but it can be fun.
Oh, well, so that's one of the reasons they want to be atheists? I don't get it. Which should come as no surprise.
To be able to come down and have a lack of a belief system.
Makes you feel alone.
No, he says it doesn't really make you feel alone because you have friendships, you have other human people, you have relationships to animals and so forth. So it's not that kind of loneliness. But the atheist deal, it takes away that structure of if you believe in something greater or outside of you that has some kind of control or influence over you. So it puts the responsibility directly into the I.
I see.
And it puts the I first, right? Self first is not selfish, as he goes, Jamie chants that all the time. And it's not a mantra, but I do say it all the time.
It's good.
And he said it allows them to learn more about human life and capability rather than saying, well, I'm not responsible over this because God's going to take it from me. Or God is going to help me, or God is going to give me an answer. So I'm going to sit still until God does. And he said, I'm using God as a very general term.
Sure.
Please do not take that personal. He goes, just replace that word with it, whatever you need, people, when you're watching this.
No hate mail, please.
He said, yeah, please. But again, it's not our job to change them. He goes, but if they're at the website, if they're looking at the material so that they can find something wrong with it or so that they can leave a comment, it really means inside of them, they know there's something greater, but they just haven't found where they belong yet. That's mostly with the atheists. With the religion, they want to be good. He said good believers.
Believers. Did you just stumble over a word, Erik? I didn't think that was possible in the spirit world.
Justin Bieber.
Oh,
believers.
Okay. So it wasn't a stumble.
No. They want to be good followers. They want to be loyal. So they're going to take verbatim what the words are, take what they need from it, and listen to the person who's saying, I've walked this path. It's good for me. This is how you should follow it. He goes, so they're actually substituting loyalty to the religion versus personal truth or personal reality. And he said, listen, I'm not saying this is right or wrong. I'm just having a discussion. So if you're ruffling your feathers, he's like putting his shoulders up and down, then I'm sorry. He goes, but we're just sharing. He goes, that was for a few of the watchers. He goes, but if you find yourself coming here and you're totally skeptic, it's really because you know deep down this exists for you and it should be real, but you just don't know how to describe it. And again, you can't just watch something or hear a story from somebody else or read it in a book and claim, okay, that's for me. You have to experience it. When we're coming across all this spiritual journey, this talking to the beyond and pranks and blah, 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 hearing it is great and everything, but you have to experience it to make it your own. So stay open.
That's true. And, you know, as much as I'd love for everybody to really believe all this, because it's so comforting and so enlightening, I can't shove it down their throats. It would just be wonderful to be able to have that key that unlocks their heart, just dump it all in. But at this point, all I do really is if somebody comes asking questions and are willing to, showing that they're open, then I speak with them about it.
Yeah, you give them your experience and your answers. And he goes, what I wanted to interrupt with is that when people are going to a reader or a psychic or a medium or something like that, and they're not pushing their belief system down your throat, then you know you got a pretty healthy person. You know, they're not saying, hey, you've got to come back 3 times. I've got to do this, this, and this, and this before you're going to be able to do this. If you're approaching someone looking for greater answers and they are following your lead, then you know it's somebody who's willing to help you grow at your speed. Because then that, in my personal opinion, that's someone with a great sense of awareness and presence, and that's where you want to be.
Okay. Now, there's some people who are religious who come to me asking for help reconciling some of these things, the spiritual issues and phenomena, with their religious beliefs. How do you help them with that? Because some of the stuff that they've been fed completely contradicts what you, Jamie, me, and a lot of you viewers hold as our truth.
He says, let's take Christianity. Let's take the Bible.
Okay.
And he says, I'm just picking at random. There are many stories in the Bible about near-death experiences, about outer body experiences, about prayers being answered and God responding. There's even a statement in there by Jesus, you know, if he's able to do it, everybody else is too. Okay, I don't think that's a word-for-word quote.
I don't think so. I didn't know my Bible, but I don't think that's it.
But he said, somewhere we got lost in translation that only these special people are able to do it. The really high religious people. And so if you're a follower, you're not one of those. You're just one who's supposed to obey and have faith and show faith. And with faith, you'll be redeemed. And he says it's okay that misinterpretation came in there, but we can do all of these things. We've just been taught out of it because of the need for control over masses. You know,
They say spirituality is something or other, and organized religion is crowd control. I can't remember what the something or other is, but one more cup of coffee later I might.
He said that is kind of right, Mom. Or organized religion came for crowd control, and it worked for a long time. And he said what we're going to start seeing now is that it's not working anymore.
Yeah, it did civilize the barbarians. I mean, it did give us a code of morals to live by. So, yeah, it definitely had its purpose. So, now what I tell skeptics who attack me, though, I tell them that Arthur Schopenhauer, this famous dude, said that truth comes in three phases. First, it's scorned, and then first it's ridiculed. I get a lot of that. Then it's scorned. You know, you get a lot of that too. And eventually it's accepted as self-evident. And I think we're just going through those phases. Look, when the earth was, when somebody said the earth is round, and oh my God, they got ridiculed, and then they got scorned. I think somebody got thrown in prison or something, and guess what? The earth is round. So I'm just trying to tell you skeptics out there, keep an open mind, because the earth might be actually round.
Yeah. And Erik says another great way of saying keeping an open mind is that if you've come here, there's obviously some kind of entertainment value. Mm-hmm. There's obviously something here for you that's going to feed you somehow. Mm-hmm. Fuel for the flame. He said, but we're not trying to tell you it's part of your truth. You're allowed to be exactly who you need to be. Mm-hmm. Because if you're meeting those people who won't let you exactly be who you're supposed to be, he goes, watch out!
You are really getting good at those gestures and sounds, man. You got a good teacher. But you know, I think it's really sad when I have blog members who are the only ones in their family or their circle of friends who believe in what we believe. And they just feel so alone. Maybe they're not attacked or ridiculed. Maybe they are. But what can we tell them? How can we help them?
The baby cute black sheep of the family.
I know. That's what it is. That's what it feels like for them.
Yes. Mm. While maybe the rest of the family is religious faring or atheist or just kind of in that average in between that they used to have a belief system, but now they're kind of going on their own.
Mm-hmm. Going rogue.
Going rogue. But they definitely don't believe in this kind of communication. Mm. And he said, I would tell that person, the baby black sheep person, to look at science and start discovering what quantum mechanics is, what string theory is. Start reading the science behind the spirituality, because it's going to prove how this energy exists, how it's vibrating, how it's being used, where the dimensions are, and really, where do we go after this conscious human physical journey? Like, there are links to how our consciousness survives after we die.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of scientific research, a lot of scientific evidence, exactly.
And when we start talking about science, it's leaving the emotional needs aside. Mm-hmm. You're not selling it, you're not requiring them to do anything, but you can say, well, how did we discover this if it doesn't exist? Mm-hmm. And it opens up a conversation where somebody else can learn from you rather than be defensive to you.
So do they present the science to them, or do they just, wait until the person objects and then say, well, I believe what I believe. Here's some science behind it.
Yeah, if it's an ongoing topic in your family, I think emailing articles and going, oh, look what I just found and just read and blah, 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 and sending it is fine. Okay. If it's not ongoing and then they just bring it up at the table, go, well, I understand that, but I'd like to present, how Bruce Lipton, discovered blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. And how does that fold into this? Why is that there? And then you wait and you let them take responsibility for their answer.
Very good. One scientific finding that I thought was kind of interesting is that the soul is connected to the body in these tiny structures called microtubules. Those are little structures in every cell that's responsible for helping maintain the structure of the cell, but also it's involved in cell division and stuff. So they've discovered that's where the cell connects in there. I mean, how much more tangible can spirituality be? Seriously. And they've discovered that they think that the soul is made of these tiny little particles called neutrinos. And neutrinos are so tiny, they discovered them because they were able to pass through lead. And I think that's why Erik can pass through walls and stuff and do all sorts of crazy magic like that. So, we're getting there. We're getting there.
He goes, busted.
I know. Anything else on that, Erik?
No, I said, this is fantastic.
Okay, look, Erik, I recently got the galley for your book. For you guys who don't know, Erik wrote his memoirs. I mean, channeled completely through Jamie, and it is just, I'm not bragging because I'm not the author. It is absolutely jaw-dropping, page-turning. Everybody who's had a peek at it is just absolutely floored. And Erik, I'm just so proud of you. Just the feedback I'm getting is amazing. Basically, it's called My Life After Death, a Memoir from Heaven. I almost forgot the subtitle. And Erik describes everything about his death, his crossing over, his funeral, his goodbyes to us, what happened right after he crossed over, everything about heaven. I mean, by the time you finish the book, you pretty much know what's going to happen, where you're going to be after you die. It's in such graphic detail, vivid detail. So anyway, check it out on Amazon or Barnes & Noble's, guys. You can pre-order it. It's not going to be out until September 1st, though. So you have to wait.
He's so excited. He's so proud that you love it so much. He's like, thank you, Mom.
It is. I'm just amazed. Anything else you want to say? Just a free topic? Erik,
yeah, he was giggling. He goes, I know the title doesn't match verbatim how we talk about time and how we talk about religion. He goes, but heads up, people, we are trying to market to masses so people will read it and learn something. So even Afterlife suggests that life is linear and there's a life after life. He goes, that's just the term that everybody knows. He goes, I think we have that in the book. And heaven, of course, that's a religious term. He says, I call it home, but who the fuck is going to understand that? They're going to think that I went home to Texas.
Yeah.
He goes, so just letting you know, because we're trying to bring people in so they can discover something different.
That's right. And all the proceeds are going to go to a nonprofit organization that Jamie is setting up or has set up.
I have set it up.
So you must know that that everything I do not receive and refuse any monetary compensation for, because this is important. I want to do this for Erik. Erik, this is all for you. So
He's tearing up.
Oh, really?
He's waving. Like, thanks, Mom.
I love you.
He said, I love you too.
Okay, everybody. I guess we'll close off a little early. Please visit Jamie's site, withloveandlight.com. She's got webinars. It's all, she's got these small group channeling calls that are very powerful. Things occurring in her Center of Love and Light also, and she's going to be doing more and more as time goes on.
Yes,
and
it's exciting.
I know.
And go over to, he says, quick dog announcement.
I know. It's barking, y'all. It's life. It's real life. I got dogs around me. I'm just hoping they don't trip over any cords and knock my lights down. But they probably will.
He said, hey, if you're here, go over to channelingerik.com. He goes, remember, my name is spelt with a K, not a C, a K.
And not a CK. A lot of people do that too.
Oh, that's interesting. I haven't seen that one yet. And he says, and start with the archives if you're a newbie. Read from the beginning all the way through. It's super addictive. And I can't wait for you guys to read my book. Oh, today he goes, peace out. Can you see? Peace out.
Peace out. All right, guys. Bye.
Thank you.
Love everybody out there. Jamie, love you. Erik,
love you
again. Bye.
He says bye.
Bye-bye.